There's a moment that happens. Maybe you remember it. The moment when you first knew something true about yourself that the entire world insisted wasn't real. When your body whispered a secret that every authority figure, every holy book, every sideways glance in a locker room told you to unlearn. That moment when you understood, what lives inside me is more true than everything outside trying to name me. That's Gnosis. The ancient Gnostics, these early Christians that the church tried to erase, they taught that the material world, the one we can touch and see and measure, it's a kind of prison. Not because matter is evil, because we believe the labels more than we believe ourselves. We trust the systems. We bow to the powers that tell us what's real, what's natural, what's divine. And in doing so, we forget the spark inside us that knows better. Gnosis means knowledge, but not the kind you learn in Sunday school. It's the knowledge that comes from seeing through the veil. It's direct experience of the divine that no priest can give you and no institution can take away. It's trusting what you know in your bones, even when everyone else calls you delusional. Sound familiar? Because here's what I've been thinking about. The same sight that lets you see beyond the gender binary, that lets you perceive your own truth underneath the suffocating weight of man and woman, as if these were the only colors God knew how to paint with. That's the same sight the Gnostics used to see beyond material illusions, to perceive divine reality. When you came out, when you finally let yourself feel what you'd been feeling all along, when you looked in the mirror and saw someone the world refused to see, you were practicing Gnosis. You were choosing inner knowing over external authority. You were trusting the divine spark within you over the archons, those powers and principalities, those systems and structures that feed on your shame and grow fat on your self-hatred. The Gnostic texts, the ones they buried in the Egyptian desert because they were too dangerous, they were already queering everything. The divine beings in these texts, they're both and neither, male and female, transcending the binary altogether. Jesus and Mary Magdalene's union is spiritual, erotic, beyond categories. The bridal chamber becomes a metaphor for non-dual consciousness, the dissolution of all separation, all either, or all this not that. And here's the thing they don't tell you. Both Gnostics and queer people have been persecuted for the same reason, not because we're wrong, but because we threaten the established order. We're told we're against nature, as if nature herself hasn't been queering binaries since the beginning of time, as if God made only straight lines and right angles, as if the divine doesn't know how to color outside the lines. They called Gnostics heretics. Gnosis puts power back in your hands, and that's the threat. If you can access God directly, if the kingdom of heaven is actually within you, then you don't need their buildings, their hierarchies, their permission. You don't need to be saved by them because you were never damned to begin with. And they call us abominations for the same reason. Because when you live authentically, when you trust your interior truth over their exterior lies, when you refuse to perform the roles they've scripted for you, you reveal that the emperor has no clothes. You show that their natural order is just another illusion, another veil, another prison where all supposed to pretend is paradise. So this is what I want you to hear today. Your queerness didn't make you broken. It made you a mystic. Every time you survived the cognitive dissonance of knowing yourself, while the world said you were confused, that was spiritual discipline. Every time you trusted your truth while surrounded by their lies, that was Gnosis. Every moment you chose authenticity over acceptance, love over fear, self-knowledge over their salvation, you were walking the path the Gnostics walked 2,000 years ago. You didn't just survive the closet, you developed spiritual sight in there. You learned to see through illusions. You know how to trust the divine within when everything external screams that you're wrong. That's not just resilience, that's enlightenment. The Gnostics taught that we're all asleep, dreaming the archons' dream, believing their lies about who we are and who God is. And then someone wakes up, someone remembers, someone sees through to the truth. That person, the one who knows, really knows, their divine nature despite the world's insistence otherwise, that person is dangerous. That person can wake others up. That person is you. Your queerness might be your greatest spiritual gift, not despite the pain, because of it, because you learned early that inner truth matters more than outer conformity, because you discovered that love is bigger than law, because you found God in the last place they told you to look, inside yourself, exactly as you are. The Gospel of Thomas, one of those banned texts that preserves some of the earliest recorded sayings of Jesus, says this: "If you bring forth what is within you, what you bring forth will save you. If you do not bring forth what is within you, what you do not bring forth will destroy you." You brought forth what was within you, and it saved you. It's still saving you. So when someone tells you that you can't be both queer and close to God, when they say you have to choose between your authentic self and your spiritual life, you can smile, because you know something they don't. You know that the path to the divine runs straight through the truth of who you are. You know that gnosis isn't found in their doctrine. It's found in the moment you stopped lying to yourself and started trusting the God within. The ancient Gnostics would have recognized you immediately. They would have known, this one sees, this one knows, this one has pierced the veil. And maybe, just maybe, that's exactly why Jesus spent his time with the outcasts, the untouchables, the ones living outside the lines, because those are the people who've already learned to see beyond the illusion. Those are the people who know gnosis when they find it. You've been doing holy work all along. Every step of your journey, every moment of doubt and discovery, every time you chose truth over comfort, that was worship. That was gnosis. That was you finding your way back to the divine spark that was never, ever lost. You just had to remember, and now you know.